Hey there, football fans, and welcome back to another edition of Griz Tracks. I'm AJ Mazzolini of the Mazzolian.
And I'm Bill Speltz. I cover Griz football for the Mazzolian.
And the Griz had a loss last week, first one in quite a few weeks, but not all that surprising considering how they've been performing on the road. Grizzlies fall to Cal Poly 41-21, and now are just 1-3 away from Washington Grizzly Stadium.
That's right, AJ. They can't seem to run the ball on the road, and for the first time, their defense gave up more than 500 yards, so that was tough. They just quick quarterback for Cal Poly, and they just couldn't catch up with him.
Couldn't catch up with him. He's one of those guys running the option, and it just seemed to give him fits. They just couldn't locate him, really.
No, I mean, he's quick. It kind of reminded me of the Eastern Washington game last year when they just couldn't track down Vernon Adams. This quarterback kept running with the ball, and usually Vernon threw the ball.
Yeah, and they'll have a completely different test this week. From the quarterback. This guy is going to be throwing the ball all the time. Garrett Saffron of Sacramento State. That game is going to be here in Missoula at Washington Grizzly Stadium at noon on Saturday, and it's going to be a heck of a test for a defense again.
Most definitely, and they can run the ball and pass the ball. Garrett Saffron has thrown for over 2,000 yards. He actually has more rushing yards than anybody on the Griz team. So he's a dual threat. He's a different kind of quarterback, though. He's kind of a hard-nosed individual. I saw him take a monster hit from John Cannon-Gata last year and bounce back and throw a couple TDs to lead him back. Of course, last year, Montana beat Sac State in overtime, 51-48. So you know that he's going to come in here thinking he can put up points again this time.
And we could be expecting another high-scoring game kind of like that because Sacramento State defense isn't exactly all-class. And, that kind of matched up with what the Grizzly offense can do. Hopefully they can get things moving. I guess we'd kind of be expecting a shootout. That's
what you kind of expect. It's hard to hold a team that dangerous to 20, 30 points. And then it's up to Montana's offense to pick up the slack and score some points. They've been inconsistent, so that's the big concern. If they can run the football, which Sac State had the toughest time of any team in the league trying to stop the run, then they should be okay. Get the play action going. They should be okay offensively.
Yeah, and the Griz have been a different team at home this year, especially running the ball. And I don't know if some of that is the opponents that they've faced or just the friendly confines. But hopefully things will bode a little bit better for them as they try to rebound this week.
Right, and to be nice, AJ, you mentioned the strength of schedule is the opponents at home have been a lot easier.
A little bit different caliber, but
they've had a Division II team, but yeah, their line is progressing. It sounds like, especially the true freshman David Reese is getting better all the time. So they'll need that group to come together here with all these high-scoring teams left on their schedule.
Yeah, and the schedule does get pretty nasty at the end of the year for the Grizzlies, and it's really starting last week, I suppose. But we got Sac State right now, and then on the road against Eastern Washington. Not quite sure if their big guy, Vernon Adams, is going to be back for that or not. He's still sort of recovering from an injury. But then Southern Utah and ending the season with the Cats, all teams that are toward the upper echelon of the Big Sky Conference.
Definitely, AJ, and I don't think anything's a given. A lot of folks think the most they can afford is 3 losses or 4 losses if they hope to get into the playoffs. They already have 3, so there's not a whole lot of margin for error there. They need to put together some wins here if they want to get in the playoffs, and then if they want to win the conference.
Probably going to have to win out.
You'd think with Montana State unbeaten right now, but I guess who knows?
Yeah, and the Griz and Eastern Washington both lost last week, which threw things up in the air just a little bit. Eastern had been really the class of the conference until they did lose their quarterback. Now we're not so sure about things anymore.
Right, and I think if you look at strength of schedule, Cal Poly has the easiest road here the last going down to the end of the regular season schedule. So they have a huge game with Montana State this week, and if they can pull that one out, it's in California, then they're looking real good to at least tie for the league title.
Right, and definitely put their names in the hat and see what happens. And again, that final stretch will begin this weekend with Sacramento State here in Missoula for a noon kickoff. And pick up your copy of the Mazzolian to keep up on the Griz football team all season long, and stick with us on Mazzolian.com to watch Griz Tracks videos every week when we put them up. Thanks for tuning in this week.